by the Hon'ble DDG Crop Science, ICAR. On behalf of all of you and on my own behalf, I cordially invite Dr. R Sharma ji, Hon'ble DDG Crop Science ICAR, to address the gathering on this very momentous occasion.
Good morning to all. Distinguished Director of NIRCA, Dr. Sheshu Madhav, Shumi Viragi, Chairman Tobacco Board, Shri Yashwant Kumar, Director Atari Hyderabad, Dr. Shaikh and Meera, former directors, head of the divisions of CTRI, Dr. Dayakar Rao from CEO from NutriHub, Hyderabad, press and media, farmers, students, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to extend my heartiest congratulations to Dr. Sheshu Madhav and his team for the auspicious occasion of changing the name of CTRI into NIRCA. It's really a matter of great pleasure and satisfaction for me to represent the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, New Delhi, and participate in this function, which is organized by this institute on the day of formation of NIRCA. Dr. Sheshu Madhav has made excellent presentation and also showed beautifully how CTRI was established and now it is changed to NIRCA. Even our former head of the division told that this thought was going on for the past more than 3 decades, how to broaden the mandate of this institute. And frankly speaking, at council level, when we proposed budget for this particular institute, there were a lot of problems from government side, because on the one hand we are saying that we should not use tobacco and tobacco products, but on the other hand, how we are supporting research and development to this particular crop, that is tobacco. You know that in Indian Council of Agriculture Research we have more than 110 research institutes, and under crop science division we are having 28 institutes including NIRCA, and 22 All India Coordinated Research Program and 10 All India Network Projects, with a total strength of more than 3,750 scientists. Discussion can go with the institute staff, and also some wisdom should come from different individuals. Then various names were suggested for this institute. One of the names was National Institute on Coastal Agriculture. We rejected that. We said no, we cannot include it. Then there was another name which was suggested, that Indian Institute of research on commercial agriculture. But its not abbreviated form was not easy to speak. From IRCA it makes IRCA. So we again rejected that. And there was another name, that Institute on Secondary Agriculture. But secondary agriculture, then we thought that then tobacco will be ignored by most of the scientists, and we had to continue with tobacco because it's the mainstay of this particular institute. And not only the expertise for tobacco research and development exists here, but also it is serving the cause of the farming community of this particular area. And for making institute on secondary agriculture, we need almost all chemists, organic chemists, biochemists, and like that. So that type of expertise were not available at this institute. Then finally we zeroed down to this name, NIRCA, National Institute for Research on Commercial Agriculture. Now the next question was, how will you address the word of commercial agriculture? It's a very, very broad. It includes almost everything, because all agriculture is now becoming commercial in nature. Then again committee discussed very seriously, and we were communicating with the committee continuously from the council side. And finally these 4 crops were added along with tobacco. So tobacco would be the first crop on which we should work at this particular institute, because India is the second largest exporter after Brazil, and in 2023-24, India exported tobacco and tobacco products worth about $1,449 US. Then second crop we selected, which is chili, based on its commercial significance. 30% of chili which we produce mostly in this region of the country is exported, and 70% is consumed domestically. But India is one of the biggest exporter of chilies, and we earn more than around 6,000 crores of rupees by exporting chili, and then we should include this crop along with tobacco. The third crop we decided castor, although we have an institute adjacent here, Indian Institute of Oilseed Research, which is basically working on almost all oil crops, including castor. Then why we included castor? Because India is exporting castor and castor products, particularly raw products, to the tune of 1,09,267 billion US dollar. And we emphasized in the document that this institute should work only on value-added products of castor oil, which is, we are exporting oil and then we are getting value-added products from outside the country. And the fourth crop is turmeric, which is mainly grown here in this region as well as in North India. Again, it's an exporting commodity, and in 2023, more than 2,12,650 worth of US dollar turmeric was exported from India. Then another suggestion came about ashwagandha, although there were a lot of discussion on this particular commodity, and because not only we have another institute, Institute at Anand, but also there is CSIR Institute which are working on its cement. But when we look at its export, which is around more than 20,000 US dollar in 2024, and it is multiplying more than 8 times almost during the past 5 years. So after a lot of discussion within the committee and at ICR level, these 5 crops were suggested with the mandate of not diluting the efforts working on tobacco and tobacco research, because that's the mainstay of this particular institute. But on the rest of the 4 crops, the institute should continue working on development of post-harvest technologies and value-added products, along with doing work with the help of farmers producer organization and women self-help group to increase or to double the income of the farming community. So it should be made very clear, and I was happy to see the presentation of Director Dr. Seshu Madhav. The way he has suggested or mentioned the future area of trust very meticulously. A lot of I think technical input has gone in that presentation. If you see that presentation very clearly, it is diverged from the mainstay of working on research and development of these 4 crops, and some niche area of excellence has already been identified. So my congratulations to Dr. Madhav and your team for making your place in so number of institutes working on agri and agri products, that how you can stand out differently. I always tell that in science you have to work differently. You should not become part of a crowd. Many scientists, many organizations, whether public or private funded organizations, are working on almost similar aspects. But how do you identify the niche areas where in other institutions are not working? That is a major task, and I am sure that with the passage of time and also with the addition of few more staff at this institute, the future areas of research will be refined further. As far as funding is concerned, I would like to mention here that when we were discussing a project on genome editing in different crop plants, this is a budget announcement by Government of India. It's around 500 crore rupees of grant given to the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. And in Crop Science Division, which comes under my purview, we were discussing to work on 24 crops across 25 institutions. Then in the initial discussion we did not include tobacco as one of the crops because of certain restrictions globally as well as in India. But I don't know from where Dr. Seshu Madhav came to know that this project is being discussed in the council. Then immediately he contacted me as well as sent a mail. Then I had a long discussion with him that what to work on tobacco, because it's very difficult to justify. Then he suggested very important areas, and one of the areas was to reduce toxicity or nicotine content in tobacco, and another one is to increase various flavonoids so that we can make tobacco as an industrial crop. And immediately we accepted that, and I am happy to announce that we sanctioned 1.5 crore rupees funding to this institute. And today when I visited your lab, genome editing lab, I was really very impressed to see the progress which is being done in this particular area, particularly in genome editing. And the plants are now transferred to the net houses, and I'm sure that during my next visit, whenever I will come, the whole net house will be full of genome edited plants and verified and characterized for the target traits. So why I am saying all these things here in front of all scientists, students and farming community sitting here, that if you have a right kind of person sitting at the helm of affair, particularly the director of the institute, who is always eager to bring money to the institute in different forms, then it makes a lot of difference. And you all are lucky that you have Dr. Madhav as a director, and he is very, very eager to get money from ICAR, from Tobacco Board, from Ministry of Agriculture, from ITC, and many other public and private organizations. So I would like to suggest here to Dr. Madhav and to all those who matter at this institute that Indian Council of Agriculture Research has recently modified its route, and it is very clearly stated that whatever earning an institute is making, 80% of those resources or revenue are at the disposal of director to be spent on institute's activity, R&D activities or other activities. So now this is another avenue for all of you. Whatever funding you are generating by sales of technology, by selling your products or earning money from other resources, at least 80% you are free to use at your use. 20% will go to the council. That is again available to all the institutions through competitive grants. You will write a grant and institute will get. So besides the general things which I was interested to talk to you, some of the suggestions which I would like to give to Dr. Sheshu Madhav while reading the future area of thrust which he has mentioned in his presentation. I would like to say here three important things that for working in any crops, we have to work on three different areas. Number one is genetic resource management. So whatever area you pick up here, you should have collection of germ plant resources, tobacco, chili, castor, turmeric and ashwagandha, and you have started that area. But there not only collection is important, their characterization and utilization is very important. Number two is that try to build a component of strong basic science. Unless we address basic science questions, you cannot develop applied technologies. And for that, try to bioprospect new genes and alleles or mine alleles from those germ plant resources and utilize in your breeding program. One of the new areas which is coming now in most of the crop species, and as there are only one or two reports in plants, is understanding the microbiome of individual plants. You have mentioned an area here, but I will add further and suggest that not only analyze microbiome of rhizosphere or phylloplane, but try to identify microbiome associated genes, and these genes are called as M genes. There are only 2 or 3 reports on this area, and since you are dealing with a variety of crops, you will definitely going to get some types of microbiome associated genes which can be mapped, cloned and characterized, and also used in developing crops for global climate change resilience. Third area which I was thinking is that in basic science what you can do, how plant-to-plant communication exists, how one plant communicates with another plant. You know that whenever there is a stress under field conditions, plants has to stand there. Their plants are sessile in nature. If anything happens to human beings or animals, we run away from the stress and then try to find out some good place. But plants has no option. They are sessile species. So what plant does? If there is a stress on particular plant, it produces certain volatile compounds which are sensed by adjacent growing plants, and the whole defense mechanism of the adjacently growing plants becomes activated. So one plant communicates with another plants in soil through these volatile compounds, and there are specific genes responsible for the production of these volatile compounds. And very important studies can be made, particularly in tobacco and in other crops, on this particular area. I already mentioned about secondary agriculture. A lot of opportunities exist here in case of turmeric, ashwagandha, castor and chili. So we have to tap this particular area. The final area which I will suggest is human resource development and outreach. Your institute is known for technology development in case of tobacco, and I think during past 75 years or so, the institute is very successful in spreading its technology on tobacco to the farming community. But in other 4 crops which we suggested now, a different way of working is required, and there most of the efforts are going towards product development, market analysis and finding USP for individual plant products, unique selling points. And those points can be made through branding. So I will suggest that you develop the brand name of your institute, under which brand name you should sell all the products developed by this institute, and then educate the farming community. At this point of time, I would suggest that all of us, those who are working in academic institutions, are using public funded money. All of us. The money is the taxpayers' money. So anything which we are doing at our institute, any type of research and development, I think we should not forget our stakeholders. And our stakeholders, the number one stakeholder is the farmers, and then industry and the consumer. So your research should be directed towards developing product, processes, or forming partnership to serve your stakeholder in best possible manner. If you do that, only then you will be a successful individual, a successful scientist, or a successful student. So I don't want to take much time now, because we are now sitting here since past 2 hours, more than 2 hours. But before I close, I would like to extend my personal congratulations and congratulations on behalf of Indian Council of Agriculture Research to the whole NIRCA family and everybody sitting here. And I will wish that whenever next time I come here, you will be ready with your technologies in all these 5 crops, and those technologies would be going to the market and to the consumers. So my best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.